Have you ever felt like something is missing in your life? Like you're searching for something greater, something deeper, but no matter how hard you try, it's always just out of reach? You've meditated, prayed, read spiritual books, maybe even attended retreats, but still, that feeling of emptiness lingers. What if I told you that everything you've been doing, all the meditation, all the rituals, all the searching, might actually be keeping you from what you've been looking for? What if the truth is, you don't need to search for anything at all? What if the awakening you're seeking has always been here, right beneath your nose, and you just haven't seen it yet? The problem is, we've been taught that awakening is something we have to achieve, that it's something we can attain through effort, through more practices, more learning, more rituals. But the truth is, awakening isn't about becoming anything at all. It's about realizing who you already are. It's about dropping the layers of who you think you are and seeing that the truth has always been here, right now, in this moment. You don't need to become spiritual to wake up. In fact, the more you try to become spiritual, the more you're just feeding your ego, which is the very thing that's keeping you from awakening. The ego is sneaky. It doesn't need to be loud or obvious to keep you trapped. It just needs you to keep searching, keep striving, keep thinking that there's something more you need to become. And it's subtle. It might start as I'm successful or I'm talented, but once those labels fall away, the ego doesn't die. It just shifts into something else. It becomes I'm awakened or I'm enlightened. And suddenly, you find yourself comparing your peaceful, calm life to the chaos around you. You start thinking, I'm more advanced than they are. And before you know it, you're caught in the trap of spiritual pride, the spiritual ego. It feels good because it feels like you're moving forward, like you've achieved something, but it's still just the ego in disguise. The problem is, when you wear your spirituality like a badge, when you start to think you're more enlightened than someone else, you've completely missed the point. Awakening isn't about becoming special. It's about realizing there was never anything wrong with you in the first place. It's about stripping away all the ideas and identities you've piled on top of yourself over the years. It's about realizing that beneath all of that, there's just peace. There's nothing you need to do to earn it. No special practices you need to follow. Awakening happens the moment you let go of the search, the moment you realize you were never really searching for anything. You've always had what you needed. This is the paradox of spirituality. The more you try to become something, the further you move from the truth. The more you chase after enlightenment, the more you reinforce the idea that you're not already enlightened. It's like running on a treadmill, constantly moving but never getting anywhere. The real shift happens when you stop trying. It's when you stop chasing, stop seeking, and simply let yourself be star. When you let go of all the efforts to improve, to fix, or to change yourself, you make space for something else, something much deeper and more profound. You realize that you are already whole. You are already complete. Everything you've been searching for is already inside of you. It's a scary thing to realize that you don't have to become anything. The moment you realize that awakening isn't something to achieve, something you can get, is the moment everything shifts. Because in that realization, you let go of everything that has been keeping you stuck. You stop trying to add more, and instead, you start subtracting everything that was never really you. And that's when you wake up. You wake up not because you've become something better or more spiritual, but because you've finally let go of all the things that were preventing you from seeing what's always been true. And here's the thing. Once the ego dies, once you stop clinging to the idea that you're spiritual or awakened or enlightened, you realize something amazing. You don't need any of that. You don't need to wear special robes, chant mantras, or perform rituals to feel connected to life. In fact, the most peaceful people you'll meet aren't walking around talking about their vibrations or their frequency or how enlightened they are. They are simply being. They don't need to prove anything. They don't need to convince anyone that they are awake or spiritual or special. They just are. And that's the beauty of awakening. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about letting go of the person you thought you were, the person who needed labels and achievements and validation. You see, true awakening is not a process of becoming. It's a process of realizing that you are already what you've been seeking. You've been it all along, you just didn't know it. And once you stop trying to achieve it, once you stop looking for it outside of yourself, it's like a light bulb turning on. You realize that everything you've been searching for, peace, joy, love, truth, has been inside you the entire time. And the funny part is, you don't need to become anything or anyone to access it. It's already there. Always has been. So the next time someone tells you that you need to be more spiritual, smile gently, because you'll know something they don't. You'll know that you don't need to chase anything. You don't need to become anything. And you certainly don't need to be better than anyone else. You already have everything you need. All you have to do is stop searching long enough to see it. The peace you've been craving isn't something you create. It's something you remember. And when that happens, when you finally stop searching and simply let go, you'll realize that the light you've been looking for was never outside of you. It was you all along. In the end, you don't wake up by becoming spiritual. You wake up by stopping the search and realizing that you are already what you've been looking for. When you stop trying to be spiritual, you naturally embody the deepest spirituality there is. You realize that everything, the ordinary, the mundane, the so-called unspiritual parts of life, are all part of the same truth. Because the truth doesn't need labels. It just is. It's not something you achieve, it's something you remember. And the moment you stop trying to reach it, you'll find it. And when you do, everything will finally make sense. You'll know, deep in your bones, that you've always been awake. You've always been exactly where you were supposed to be.